Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Behind the Layers. I am your host, Kara Christensen. And here on this channel, we uncover the facts, the myths, the good, the bad, and the ugly behind the fitness, health, wellness, and beauty industry. And I am excited for today's episode because we are going to be talking about all of the craze of the fat loss shots, the semaglutides and the what is it called? The trizepatide, Wegovy, Ozempic, and Mounjaro, and also how to create your own concoction at home. Does it work? Does it not? I don't know. We shall see. So, I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend and a good Monday off. I know a lot of people had Mondays off, so I hope you guys had a nice, relaxing time. It looks like here where I am, we are possibly moving into some more snow. So, that's going to be fun. But I definitely feel like, being outside, all the sunshine, spring around the corner. It's so exciting. It's my favorite time when all the flowers come in bloom, and it's just feeling like, a fresh start, new start for those of you that have been doing the magic in the secret book, the magic book with the manifestation. I am so excited about that. I have already seen such big results from it, and I hope that you guys have too. If you haven't started that, or you're looking for um, a little more enthusiasm for the year being a good one, or positivity, you need more positivity in your life, and you're just stuck or feel like you're in a rut, I highly suggest that book called The Magic. It's written by the same people who wrote The Secret, and it is absolutely fantastic. I mean, no matter what situation you're in, if you are been in a situation where you're stuck and you just feel like things haven't been going your way, or just one thing after the next, or you've got some turmoil with friends or family, or at work, this is the book for you. I'm telling you. And I'm not someone who sits around and reads books. But if it's a self-help book and it's something that can help me learn and grow and flourish, then of course I want to learn it. And it's free to do. You can even download an audio version if you don't want to sit down and actually read it. But there is some work involved. You do have to have either your strong mental capacity to remember all of the steps that you need to do, or writing it in your phone, on your tablet, on your computer, or just old school like I do, pen to paper. And you will need to be able to go through the steps. It's not a lot of time commitment. It's only like 5 minutes, maybe in the evening, because you're reading the next day's manifesto. And then you have maybe 5 minutes in the morning when you're reading over the things that you are grateful for and the things that you want to manifest in your life. It's really, really awesome. I do suggest you guys getting the book or downloading it. I think I saw that it was a free or like $1 or something like that to download on the Kindle, but it's through Amazon, and it is like $15 for the paperback, and it's called The Magic, and it's written by the same people that did The Secret. So it's like the magic in the secret. So it is a little like, campy like that, but it's got a great message, and I really do find this channel to be a one-stop shop for people that are looking for a natural, holistic, positive way to enhance your life and start living your life the best that you can have from the inside out. And I truly do believe that we can make that magic happen within us just from a little bit of effort and positivity. So, that being said, I do hope that you look into it or follow along on my pages at Kara Chris TV. That's on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and X. if you go on there, you'll be able to see the link to the book, The Magic. And yeah, so we started on the 1st, and today is the 18th, and it's a 28-day thing. So if you didn't start on the 1st, that's fine. Start whenever you're ready to start. And I did put the link to the book, but I also put the link to the online free version of it. So you could go along with it if you can't afford to get the book right now. You shouldn't have to miss out on greatness just because you can't afford to get something. So I did put the link where you can follow along day by day and read the book that way. But like I said, it's free to do. It's just a little bit of time and devotion and some real mental work because you're trying to change your mindset and manifest greatness in your life and all the things that your big, beautiful mind has been longing for or wishing that that was your life and wanting to have that in your life. Well, now you can do what you need to do to manifest those greatness and those great things, whether it's finances, whether it's better relationships with your friends or family, whether it's a better job, a car, a house, whatever it is that your heart desires. That's what you put in your manifestation, and that's what you put your focus on to manifest in your life. So far, I feel like it's been such a blessing. My husband and I are doing it together. You can do it with a friend or a coworker or just do it by yourself. So, I mean, nothing wrong with that. But today we are diving into a really cool topic. I know it's been out there, unless you've been living under a rock, you know about the fat shots. So, these shots are, the Ozempic, the Wagovy-Mounjaro. Those are the shots that I'm talking about. The trizepatide and the semaglutides. Those are the two different versions that there are. And what are those? We are going to dive into what they are, the difference between the three shots, and potentially how to make your own at home. You heard it right. I've been doing a deep dive, and other doctors that are holistic doctors that are talking about the same type of outcome that you can get from the Wegovy and the Ozempic and those shots, the Mounjaro, but all natural. And there are ingredients out there that can mimic the same thing without the harmful side effects. So we're going to be talking about all of that in today's episode of Behind the Layers. So thank you so much for joining. I hope that you guys are ready to absorb some knowledge because I'm about to throw a lot your way. Okay, let's go to here. I'm going to screen share this with you, and bada boom. Okay, so this is the difference. So there's several shots, and not a lot of people know. I know people have heard about the shots and know that they're out there, but a lot of people don't know what is the difference in the shots and what they do to your body. So that's kind of what we're going to cover today. I like to go to Healthline or WebMD or Mayo Clinic are really the only places that I like to go. Some people do deep dives like I do and share information that they have dug through and fact checked. So I do definitely make sure the information I give you guys is going to be tried and true and coming from a place that you can also look into and know that you're getting good, solid, unbiased information that is just about the topic. So if you haven't already, make sure you do subscribe to the channel at Kara Chris TV. This is being streamed from YouTube. So if you want to head over to YouTube, hit at Kara Chris TV, hit subscribe. You have to put the @ symbol. Kara Chris, CHRIS TV. And yeah, you guys head on over there or Instagram. This is streaming from YouTube, so everything that is going to be on here is going to be on my YouTube page. And if you want to get involved in the conversation, watching it from YouTube or from Facebook is mainly the ways that I'm able from this platform. Everybody else I can't really see, but I do appreciate you guys joining in. And if you like this information or you know somebody that needs some motivation on losing some weight, getting in better health, not just losing weight for your physical, but also this channel is about clearing out your energies, your chakras, and getting yourself rebalanced and fueling your mind, your body, and your soul all holistically. You can do it for free. It just takes some time and effort on your end, and that's it. And you can have a much better life and live a better life from the inside out. And what person doesn't want to do that with a little bit of effort, just a little tiny bit of effort, little changes. That's what I like to do here is little small hills to reach the top of the mountain, little small feats. We take one little baby step at a time. So here we go. What is the difference in these fat loss pill or uh, not pills, shots, and what do they do to the inside of your body? Let me minimize myself. I'm going to change locations of myself right there. Bada boom. Look at that. So quick, so easy. Okay. Let's see. Trizepatide and semaglutide are type 2 diabetes drugs often used for weight loss. Trizepatide is less expensive and may be more effective. However, the drug is still new and more research is needed. So the trizepatide is the mainly like Mounjaro. The rest of the other ones are mainly semaglutides, which is Ozempic and Wegovy. And there it's said that the trizepatide, the Mounjaro, is the one that is more helpful to getting your weight in check quicker. That's what it said. But what are the side effects, right? So later on, we're going to be talking about the secret ingredient in the holistic way to be able to achieve the same things without all these terrible side effects. So, what are the side effects? Let's dive in. I'm going over here and I'm going to be blurry for a minute. Let me actually minimize myself. So, no, I'll keep it. Okay, moving on to this. Okay, so using medications for weight loss is becoming more common. Doctors sometimes prescribe newer type 2 diabetes drugs to help with weight management. This use of off-label meaning that doctors prescribe the drug for a use that's different from the one Food and Drug Administration FDA has approved, which is a little, people kind of go off that FDA stamp because they know it's kind of been tested and we know what the side effects are. So when you go out of the realm of the Food and Drug Administration testing it, then you're just kind of chancing on you not having extreme side effects because it hasn't been tested by the FDA or nor does it have the stamp of approval. So two drugs that doctors prescribe for weight loss are trizepatide and semaglutide. Both drugs can help your brain feel less hungry, but there are some differences to consider with the doctor's guidance. Research is still unclear as to which of the two medications might be a better option for weight loss. So, I don't know about how you guys feel, but I definitely feel that if there is not enough research to show, I like to dive into testing things after it's already been out for at least 2 years, 3 years. There's enough people to know, okay, you've been taking this on a weekly basis. People have said if you get off of it, and it's quite expensive, if you get off of it, then you gain all your weight back. It's got terrible side effects for thyroid cancers and enlarging pancreas. So killing your thyroid is a very big deal because if you get off of it and you've killed your thyroid and now your thyroid's not functioning well for you, then you constantly have to be on this medication and who knows what the long term is, right? So let's see what some of the difference in these side effects are for this. Hold on, let me shrink myself a little bit more so I could see. There we go. Okay, so when you eat, your digestive tract releases the hormone, yeah, that one, GLP-1, which prompts your body to create more insulin. So when you're eating, right? So what that's saying is when you're eating food, your digestive system's like, okay, I'm eating food. I need to send all of what you need to break down that food into your stomach at this moment. So that's what it creates that insulin, right? So this hormone can also send fullness signals to your brain. So that's how they say, Okay, so you're eating your food, take 20 minutes, eat your food slowly. They don't tell you eat your food slowly because it digests better, which it does if you chew it up more, but it takes 20 minutes for the signals to reach from your stomach to your brain that you're all tapped out, that you're full. So that is why they say eat slowly, chew your food up really well. It does help with digest. I mean, you don't want to be swallowing half the food all chunked up, and that takes even longer for your body to work to break it down. And we're going to talk about that in a minute of why that's important. So this semaglutide is FDA approved to treat type 2 diabetes under the brand name Ozempic. Remember I talked about the two different types. So the semaglutide is the one that is supposed to take a little longer, but it's also the one that's been FDA approved, and it has been out there longer than the new one, which is Mounjaro, which they're saying happens to help out a lot quicker. But it doesn't come without its side effects, right? So Wegovy is the only semaglutide drug that's approved for use in weight management, which is very interesting, right? So there's only this one here, which is Wegovy, not Ozempic. Wegovy is approved for weight loss management, but doctors may prescribe because Wegovy has extra things. So the Ozempic has, type 2 diabetes drug, right? So it's just meant for that. So then they started thinking, okay, well, how can we make this a more user-friendly drug and put more vitamins and essentials back into a person that does not have type 2 diabetes that's going to be taking this for weight management? And lo and behold, Wegovy was born. So that's why that was the first one, Wegovy being approved to use for weight management. But doctors may prescribe the other brand name drugs off label for weight loss. Off label, meaning it hasn't been approved by the FDA and it hasn't been approved to use for weight loss management. It's off label, like, the underground market. However, people are still taking it and testing the waters with it. What is going to happen? We don't know. Let's read along. Trizepatide is a glucose dependent, my so tiny, GIP. So this is it's a peptide, right? So trizepatide is a glucose dependent peptide. The GLP-1 receptor against agonist that mimics the GLP-1 and the GIP hormones. So what this is doing is when you take the trizepatide, which is what the Mounjaro is, it's going in and mimicking the things that your body needs to block insulin raise, block insulin resistance, block the absorption of, or turning the sugars and carbs that you eat and storing them as fat. So it's a receptor blocker, right? And that's what you're putting in there, which sounds fine and dandy, okay? But what are the side effects? How is that going to affect you long term if you're taking this? Because from what I know from my license in studying the body and my clients and working with them in nutrition and wellness over the years, is if you are taking something that starts to mimic the function of a thyroid, a gland, organ in your body, the organ starts to say, okay, well, we don't need double, so I'm going to stop. It's coming in anyway. So it stops doing the production of the job that it's meant to do. Do you want that? Because that means now you're going to always need that thing to keep the production of that organ or that gland working for you. Otherwise, when you stop taking it, it's your factory's already shut down, the natural one that you have. So we're going to talk about how we can get that revved back up if you have been taking it, how we can make something, how you can use natural. There are natural herbs out there that can do the same thing, but it's just not being talked about because this is such a huge industry right now. This is such a big money maker right here. So of course, only the holistic doctors, which up until just recently have been silenced on sharing knowledge for a lot of different things, but this is one of them. So I'm very excited to be able to share this with you guys now. So let's see, it's agonist and mimics, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let me scroll up so I can see it. Okay, So the trizepatide is sold under the brand name Mounjaro, which is also approved only to treat type 2 diabetes. However, trizepatide may be prescribed for weight loss, under the brand name Zepbound. So they're kind of creating in their own version saying this isn't cleared to use. However, we're going to call it this and then we'll clear that. Like, I don't know. Sounds a little shisty to me. So let's keep going. All right. Semaglutide or trizepatide. Some recent studies have compared semaglutide and trizepatide for weight loss. Research studies from 2024, 2023, and 2021 suggest that trizepatide may result in greater weight loss than semaglutide, but there are some important caveats to these studies. Okay, the doses of semaglutide and trizepatide given to participants were not equal. Semaglutide and trizepatide work slightly different, so the researchers chose comparable dose levels. However, the dose of trizepatide, which is what I heard too, is higher, which may affect the results. Trizepatide is currently FDA approved for the use in people who are overweight or have obesity, whether or not they have type 2 diabetes. So to be in that realm, overweight and obesity, I think you have to have a BMI of greater than 30%. If I'm not mistaken, the BMI has to be up pretty high. So for you to be able to get it. And I think either one of those, because I was doing a little research last night, like how much money does it cost to do this one and how much does it cost to do that one? So it was about hey Bo. No, it hasn't. Nope. Only snow coming through. So it is about so it's about $200 a month, if I'm not mistaken, to get the monthly rounds of the one of those. You can either do one or the other. You can't do them both. So, and I mean, if you do, I mean, I don't know what that would do for you anyway to do both of them. Why you would need that? It seems like overkill, and you don't want to double down on the harm that it's doing inside your body. However, studies suggest that semaglutide may be an effective weight loss treatment for people without diabetes. So they got the studies already on the semaglutide, which is the Ozempic and the Wegovy, but they don't have so many studies, but it's now FDA approved for the Mounjaro. So that's kind of where we're at on that one. Let's see what these side effects are. Okay. So the side effects of the trizepatide and semaglutide are similar. Moderate side effects of trizepatide and semaglutide are constipation or diarrhea. I've heard a lot of diarrhea talk with both of them. Upset stomach, nausea, and vomiting. I've definitely heard, right? First, especially when you first start taking it, then, I mean, clients that I've had that have been on this or started taking it said, this is what of course, I can tell you all day long, I feel like we should try, you know how I am about my intermittent fasting and fasting to get you to where you need to be, but not everybody can feel mentally prepared to do those things. So I can't control what my clients do outside of their hour session with me. But those that have decided to take it, they have seen great results. However, these were some of the things that they did say they experienced: the diarrhea, the nausea, the vomiting, headaches, abdominal cramping, kind of like for ladies, like around your period, how your abdomen starts to cramp up, fatigue, like extreme exhaustion. I've also heard that one. And hypoglycemia, like being a little anemic. So those are some of the side effects that you have to, look out for. The more severe side effects would be vision changes, and that is what I'm talking about when it comes to sorry, something on my roof. That is what I'm talking about when it comes to long term, right? So these are all pretty new in the last few years that they've come on the market, but people started diving in on these things because of the celebrities giving it their endorsements and people just dropping rapid weight. I mean, like, what's happening? Everybody wants in on that, but they're not thinking of the long term. It's almost like how I used to feel when I was in high school, and I grew up on the beach, and I'm always at the beach in the sun, and my parents are like, put that sunscreen on, and I'm like, why? I want to get a golden tan. And you're not thinking about the future. You're just thinking about that right now, that what's making you happy in that moment, and you're not thinking about the future. And now here I am, have to get this thing biopsied and this thing cut off and that thing cut, like, because skin cancer is a thing. So to my past self, I wish that I would have gone back and done that. But now I've got children and I'm drilling, and they see me going through this stuff on the other side with my doctors. Like, you don't want to do this. So I'm hoping that they're smart enough, which I do believe they are, to learn their lesson from me. But this is the thing that's happening, and people are more and more cases are being reported of a very rare thyroid cancer that's happening, because remember what I told you, the thyroid function is a huge part in all of this working. So if you are killing the function of your thyroid, right, and then you stop taking this, you're like, oh, I'm only going to take it for like 6 months or 3 months until I lose that weight, and then but what happens in that time frame is that you're shutting down the operation of those glands and organs that you need to work and function for you after you get off of it. You don't want to be on this stuff for life. But what's happening is you're telling your body, hey, I already got this in. Your body is so smart, you guys. You have to learn that your body is so intelligent. It's so intelligent. It will correct itself in real time. And you're telling that, okay, wait, your thyroid saying, oh, we already got all this taken care of. Well, I don't need to produce more. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the factory. You don't, this is not the realm you want to go in. This is vision changes. People are losing their vision. You don't have to trust my word. Go do the research yourself. People that are losing their vision, getting pancreatitis, where their pancreas is literally enlarging. They're getting kidney failure, gallbladder issues. I've already known 2 people that have had to have their gallbladder removed, and one of them is set up for thyroid surgery. It's very sad. Allergic reactions, of course. Look, you know me. I'm going to be giving you all the ways to live your life the best way from the inside out, holistically, and getting your body to do its best performance for you. We have done a lot of damage. We do a lot of damage by putting all the junk in there, but that's okay. It is reversible. It really is. All naturally, because our body is that smart. God knew what he was doing. He didn't make us to not be able to handle and revamp our bodies. Okay. So, both of these medications have boxed warnings with the risk of thyroid C cell tumors on your thyroid. A box warning is the most serious warning from the FDA. If it's on the box, that means it is a big deal. If they're putting it on the box, that's what that's saying. That is the warning that they're referring to. So the trizepatide warning. Now the trizepatide, remember, is the Mounjaro. Okay, the one that they give in a bigger dose, but it's supposed to be the most effective. There are still questions about the side effects of trizepatide in people without type 2 diabetes. Weight loss is a relatively new use for the medications, and they may have limitations and side effects that research has not yet identified. The doctor and healthcare team can give you the best guidance on these medications and any symptoms you may be experiencing when using Mounjaro in particular. So, the one I'm going to be talking about, that there are doctors that have been, whoopsies, hold on. There are doctors that have been trying to talk about this from the jump, but they were getting silenced over it. I'm guessing because they weren't going to be, the health industry wasn't going to be able to make their money on people buying into this if you knew that there was a holistic way to do it, right? So they have had a surplus of videos and information that they've been putting out there saying, hey, there's actually some natural herbs that already do these things. When we take them, they do it and they enhance it, and they're all natural and recognized by the body and not harmful in any way. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but let's continue on just in case you are or know someone that is taking this. You have a little bit more information to go off of. The following table compares the diagnosis of the dosages of Wegovy and Zepbound. So Zepbound is the I guess like the street version of, I don't know if street version is the right word, is the off-brand, off-label. They call it off-label, not street version. Okay, let's just back that up. Back it up. Off-label brand of Mounjaro, and that's Zepbound. I've never heard of that before I started doing this research, but you might know someone that's on that. So the following table compares the dosages of Wegovy and Zepbound, which are the brand name medications approved for weight loss. So remember what I told you earlier. Zepbound is what they changed the Mounjaro to, because they wouldn't approve Mounjaro, so they turned it into Zepbound. Don't know what the loophole is or what have you, but because the two drugs work differently, the dosing amounts are different. However, your dosage may vary based on your doctor's recommendation on whether they choose to prescribe one of the brand name drugs off-label. I wouldn't want an off-label anything unless I knew it was tried, true, and tested. Like, big deal. Okay. So, especially something that's messing with your thyroid function like this, because remember, this is for people with type 2 diabetes. So, if you do not have type 2 diabetes and you're taking the insulin for it, it doesn't make much sense with how your body is going to react. However, everybody to each their own. My only position here, behind the layers, is to uncover the facts, the myths, and the good, bad, and the ugly, so you can have all the information you need, right? Information is power. And for you to have the information you need to be able to decide if it's something that's right for you. No judgment here. It's your life, not mine. Just giving you information. So Zepbound is 2.5 milligrams per week, and Wegovy is 0.25. That's a huge difference. So you're getting 2.5 milligrams per week opposed to Wegovy. So Wegovy is the semaglutide, which they say takes a little bit longer, but it could also be because you're only getting 0.25. And with the Zepbound, you're getting 2.5 milligrams per week, and that's the trizepatide. So, and also with both of these, no matter what you're getting, it brings on the nausea and the vomiting and the extreme severe headaches and sometimes abdominal cramping. I've never heard from people that are taking these that they've had constipation. It's mainly diarrhea, throwing up, and feeling like the headaches, like extreme headaches, like migraine style. So the Zepbound, which is the trizepatide, that can be increased by 2.5 milligrams once per week, every 4 weeks, up to 15 milligrams. That's a lot. Up to 15 milligrams once per week. Rather than 2.5, you can go up to 15 milligrams. You can dose yourself, because there's a little dial on the side of the little pin that does that allows you to adjust it yourself. It's crazy. However, it's your life. So weeks 9 through 12, you can go up 1 milligram once per week with the Wegovy, which is the semaglutide. So you see the difference? So the Zepbound, they're like, oh, you can up that ante 15 milligrams on your own. No one's gauging it. They send you all the product to your house, and then you do whatever you want to do with it. So the 15 milligrams once per week is what you can go up 15 milligrams. And the Wegovy, you can only go up the very, very max 2.4 milligrams per week. So that's a huge difference. Let's go here. Let's see. I'll get that off there. Frequently asked questions. So, oof. Out-of-pocket cost depends on whether your insurance covers the medication. It will if you are, remember how I said 30, I think you have to be over 30 BMI, 30 or 35, they might have changed it now, BMI, of your fat index. 30% of your body needs to be fat. So, the pharmacy price of 3 packages of Zepbound, which is the trizepatide, is around $3,000, while Wegovy is about $4,000. Sheesh. Let's see. 72 weeks of treatment with trizepatide cost about $17,527 for 72 weeks, while 68 weeks of treatment with semaglutide cost about $22,878, almost $23,000. That's a lot. It's a lot of money. But the study suggests that trizepatides may be more cost effective in the long run because of its greater effectiveness for weight loss. So, this is for a whole year. So, if you're getting to your goal, your weight goal sooner, it's saying you might not need all of that time frame, and you could maybe do this in maybe $6,000 rather than almost $17,500. Still, it's a lot. That's getting for people that don't have a car, a nice ride, or you don't have a home and you could get what do you call it? A camper to live in. I mean, you know, like that's a lot. Hold on, my computer needs to be plugged in. But I feel that it is, if you're not good about doing it yourself, it's going to be something obviously that is going to be beneficial. However, you definitely need to take the cost into effect and then the side effects of what it does for you, to you, and how are you going to navigate after you get off of it, right? I mean, you're not going to be on it forever. I mean, I guess you could if you just have that will and you don't really care too much about the side effects, and you may not have any side effects. You may just be one of those very fortunate people that don't. So, what are the disadvantages? I'm sorry, can I switch from semaglutide to trizepatide? It's generally considered safe to switch from semaglutide to trizepatide. That's because people are asking because you remember Ozempic and Wegovy were the first on the market, and those were the ones that people knew about. But then, people like the Kardashians and celebrities were coming out just like looking waif thin. What was the other one? Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian's always been a bigger girl, beautiful, curvy girl. Then comes out and like ridiculously skinny all over again. So, I mean, like her sisters have been doing. So, it puts it on the market. And what are they talking about? Mounjaro. And what is Mounjaro? It's the trizepatide. So now all the people that have been on the semaglutide, they want to go over to the trizepatide because it works quicker, so they say. But that's because the dosage is so much higher. But what comes with the cost of not just financial cost of having a higher dose? What comes with it? What's the price going to cost your body, your health? Hi, Caleb. Hey, you've been on Manjaro for 2 years, lost 149. You're a diabetic. Okay, see what your body is already in that space as a diabetic. Thank you for sharing. And your body is already in that space. My concern that I've been talking about here is for people that don't have have the diabetes. But I have heard the Manjaro has been working better and quicker than the semaglutide, like the Wegovy and the Ozempic, because of the side effects. You were in the hospital 2 times because of the side effects. And what were the side effects, if you don't mind sharing, Caleb? I really do appreciate you sharing because this is important. I too have had clients that didn't take my advice and they went and did their own thing, which I understand. I'm not anybody to judge. And I hate it because now they're having gallbladder and thyroid issues. One of them had a mass on her thyroid and she might have to get that thyroid removed now and her gallbladder at the same time. So it's very devastating to know that, putting the information out there, giving people a go, and it's you just never know what can be the adverse and what comes out of it. Let me see what's going. Aw, thank you so much. Thanks, Hal. I appreciate that. That's so sweet. Caleb, what did you say? Dehydration and nausea. Yeah. What were because it says you start at 2.5. Were you upping the ante? Because it said you can also take that up to 15, which I know there's been a couple people that are like, you know what, I'm just trying to get this done. And they just up that ante really quickly and then have been immediately like, I wish I didn't do that because she was throwing up constantly. But to go up on your own 15 milligrams in the week sounds very dangerous. The doctor gave me too high of a medication. I noticed my vision is getting worse on this drug. Yeah, that's another bad side effect. More people are coming out. I don't know if you've seen that in news articles or people like posting up on Instagram and YouTube Shorts and TikTok. I mean, it doesn't take much to research how many people are coming out with what the side effects are. And I think it's so important that people like you, Caleb, thank you for sharing your story. I think it's important for people to speak out for others that are maybe thinking about doing it and wondering, do they want to go this route? And that's my whole point of today's podcast, is to talk about what are the side effects, what are the literally what behind the layers is unveiling the layers of the good, the bad, and the ugly. You were at 10 to start out. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh my gosh, that seems very aggressive, right? I know that the one of the clients I had, she started out, it was the baseline 2.5, and then it was taking a slower realm. So by like week 3, she was pumped it up to the 10, and that's when she was feeling. So for that week, she took the 10 milligrams, and she was like, I was just sick all the time, throwing up all the time, which when you get sick like that, you become dehydrated. And unless you're taking like the liquid IV that you can put those powdery drinks or mix in your drink, in your water, to get a surge of hydration. Really, it's just sodium. So you can even crack. And when you're feeling super dehydrated like that, or you've been throwing up like this, or diarrhea, or anything in that measure, drinking water with cracked sea salt in it is the way to go. Just crack some sea salt in there. If you don't have the liquid IV or these hydration powders, I don't suggest Gatorade. Gatorade and Powerade are the absolute worst for you. You're better off drinking soda. The ingredients are bad. They tear up your kidney. My daughter, who had kidney cancer when she was a 4-year-old, she was told she can never again drink Gatorade and some of these hydration drinks because they are so hard on your kidney, which is really mind-blowing because they literally cater these drinks to kids and playing soccer and football and out in the fields. And these are really bad for your organs. This drug is a blessing and a curse. If I wasn't diabetic, I would not take this drug. Yeah, it's interesting to know that that's probably why they put you on the Mounjaro, is because the other ones are too close to your diabetic medication. So going into the tirzepatide form is what would cause a bit more of a weight loss because of the different ingredients that are in that are not in the, like Ozempic and Wegovy, the semaglutides. And that's a little bit closer to what a diabetic medication would be, the semaglutide. So I can see why they put you on the tirzepatide, but starting you off at a 10 is wow. I mean, do you still go to that doctor? I would feel like I might need to reassess, because that's a lot, especially if you were being hospitalized twice. But it makes sense. If you're getting nauseous, like I said, like the throwing up and the diarrhea makes you really dehydrated, and it makes your organs and your bowels dehydrated, and it kills your gut biodome. So anything you got coming in, it really works a number on your intestines. So the best way to recover from that is by drinking hydration drinks. The one that I'm telling you, the liquid IV, the little powdery mix that goes in your water, is so good. Like it has so many essential vitamins. It helps to protect your bio, and it is really good for you. That one's a great one for hydration, especially if you know you've been throwing up or you've been sick. I give my kids that. I take that after like having the flu, getting sick, or any kind of, anytime you're getting sick like that, just from having food poisoning or just getting sick in general, like from your drug that you're taking. Getting sick and not rehydrating will absolutely end you up in the hospital, or you'll pass out. Some people go into convulsions, especially if you are diabetic. So I'm glad that you did get there and you got some help. And I know that when you were in the hospital, they probably gave you a slow drip, right, to help hydrate you. And really what's in there is saline. It's salt water. So your body can hydrate quickly rather than how long it takes through water alone. Let's see what it was. I know this drug was for diabetics. What will the drug do long term to a non-diabetic? Right, and that's what this podcast is really talking about today is just the do's and the don'ts and the whys and the why nots, because of the way that it affects. I don't know if you caught earlier, you still see your doctor. I take the drug when it was first on the market. Oh, okay. Well, so what I had mentioned earlier was when your body is so smart, right? So when your body is meant to do a function, right? There's organs in your glands, thyroid, the gallbladder, everything's got a job. And let's just say now you're sending a bunch of new employees in, aka the semaglutide and the trizepatide. You're sending a bunch of the new employees in, and they start taking over the job in full force. So this other factory, your natural body's factory, is like, okay, well, there's no need for the both of us. I'm going to shut down. So that stops working the same as it did before. So of course, this is their big comeback, the medical industry, and all of the money that, they started to kind of dwindle away in their eyes from people not taking the shots and getting worried about the shots and all this new information coming about. When I'm talking about the shot, I'm talking about the vaccinations. So this was something that was like the come up. Right from there, then it was like, oh, this is the new thing. First they get it going with the celebrities, and they get them endorsing it, and then people start seeing it in real time on TV quickly. People quickly losing the weight. I get it. I understand why the desire to want to dive into it, but it's just kind of like what happened with the vaccinations is they didn't have enough information about it, and then they were coming out with information about it sterilizing children on they didn't know, but the vaccination, that was a side effect. So children that were taking it, or myocarditis with the enlarged heart, athletes were just like passing out or having a heart attack on the field in their 20s. So, and those were people that had taken the vaccination. So studies are going to happen over time, and we're going to learn more things over time. But unfortunately, we have to, people that dive in are going to have to be the ones that we learn from. So I'm so sorry that happened to you, Caleb. You're 5'10", 140 pounds, and keep losing weight. Are you still taking the shot, and how many milligrams do you take each week? Is it a weekly thing, or have you gone down to like a bi-weekly or maybe a once a month? Is that a possibility? Thank you. I really do appreciate you sharing your knowledge on that. You get some IV fluids from Costco, some IV fluid from Costco. Yeah, that's the liquid IV is, I mean, it's expensive, but if you get them on sale, there's always sales. I always look at the manufacturer sales when they can clip the coupon and let it ride. Let's see. It's generally considered safe to switch from semaglutide to trizepatide. In fact, research suggests that switching from semaglutide to trizepatide may even be beneficial for weight loss. I'm gathering that that's because with the semaglutide, like I said, you can only up the ante on that each week by 2.4 milligrams. And for the Mounjaro, you can up the ante by 15 milligrams per week. So I can understand why doctors may want to switch over for their patients, because the other one is a slow roll, and then the Mounjaro is just like, how we get fast, quick, want it now, but there are side effects to look out for. So the supervision of a doctor should consult your doctor before switching. What are the disadvantages of trizepatide? Like other GLP-1 drugs, trizepatide can cause side effects. How fast do you lose weight on trizepatide? While this can vary from person to person, 2022 study suggested that you could start seeing weight loss within weeks. And yeah, of course, because really what it's doing is making you not hungry. So the main thing that I am constantly talking about on here when it and revolves around getting your weight in check and doing it naturally is the intermittent fasting, and then full fasts. So intermittent fasting, which is just shrinking your window so you're not eating all day long. You're giving your body a little more time to digest the food and process that food before you put more food in. So if you're getting up at like, I don't know, you have your first bite of food at 8, right? And then you have, let's just say 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 at the very most until your last meal. That's intermittent fasting. That's just saying, I'm not going to eat all 16 hours of the day that I'm awake. I'm going to, give my body a little extra time, because now it can fast while you're sleeping and it can fast for the rest of the evening before you go to bed. So that's what the intermittent fasting does. And it shrinks your stomach and it shrinks your appetite, and it really starts to burn. And now you're giving it a chance to burn that stored fat storage off. So you're doing once a week at 7.5. That sounds about right for the time frame that you've been on. Should I lift weights? Some people say I lost a lot of muscle. Definitely. Strength training is going to be your best friend at this point. So, like, I don't know if you are a member of a gym, but I'm a big advocate of home workouts too, like the resistant band training, or just even getting like a dumbbell set and doing some presses and some, I have a lot of videos, and there's a ton of videos out there, but I'm very big advocate on stretching to avoid injury, and also making it a slow progress to where you're not pushing too much, and also form is everything. So you're working on the muscles and you're not working on injury every single time that you're lifting the weights. So I know the longest time this drug was like gold. You couldn't get any for a few weeks because it was sold out at the store. Right. And I know that they went through a big downfall for it, because the people that actually had diabetes were also in need of their drug too. So I know a lot of people that have diabetes were switching over because now they were getting their needs met and their weight loss in. So it was a big to do. You're right. It was, and then all of a sudden it just came out, right? Caleb, it was like, okay, it's scarce. You can't find it anywhere. Everybody's needing, like the people that have diabetes and the people that don't have diabetes, and everybody's trying to get it. And then all of a sudden, it wasn't just at your doctor. You could see it on Facebook. You could see it on Instagram. You see it on TikTok. You can get it through all these different apps and sources and places. And it just like made a surge of this product. And they were going to make sure they were going to get rid of it, because they had just spent billions of dollars putting into creating this drug, and they really needed to get their money back. So let's see. How fast do you lose weight? Okay, we already read that part. Let me go along. Before we get into, don't forget, we're going to be talking about the holistic doctors who are talking about some natural holistic herbs that can also do the same thing as the Mounjaro, which is the trizepatide. So trizepatide and semaglutide are type 2 diabetes drugs that doctors often prescribe for weight loss. Trizepatide may be more effective because of how it works, but current research is inconclusive. It's too early to know for sure whether one drug is more effective than the other, especially in people without diabetes. Several studies suggest that tirzepatide is more effective in helping people with type 2 diabetes lose weight, but the research isn't definitive. Your doctor can offer the best guidance in different weight loss options and which medications may be best for you. So, that is all I'm going to say about that. We are going to talk about a little more in depth of the semaglutide versus Ozempic versus Wegovy versus Mounjaro. They're all out there. But I think the gist of what we're getting is that the semaglutide is the thing that's a little bit slower. Now we know it's because you're only starting out with 0.25 milligrams, and with the tirzepatide you're getting 2.5 to start milligrams, and you can up the ante to 15 milligrams with the tirzepatide like Mounjaro per week, but the most you can cap out on the semaglutide per week is 2.4 additional milligrams per week. So you're definitely gonna, obviously, when you're taking way more of something, you're gonna see quicker results. It's just, logic. But the side effects when you're taking that much extra per week can also be a very serious in terms of how much quicker you are going to experience and how much worse off you'll be with those side effects. So let me go over to, where's this one? What is that? Semaglutide. What's the difference between blah, blah, blah? No, I think we kind of covered that. While Ozempic and Wegovy will be fairly similar since they are both semaglutide, Mounjaro is the newest one on the market. I'll just share this with you just in case you see something else that you we might not have covered, which I think that we kind of did before we move on to those all natural ingredients. So we covered that they're both the Wegovy and the Ozempic, and then the tirzepatide is the Mounjaro. So we covered all of that stuff, FDA approved, blah, 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 type 2 diabetes. Okay, well, this is a little bit different. It's giving a little more in depth. So let me come over here so I can read that to you. I'm going to shrink my face a little bit here. That way I can see all the words. Okay, there we go. So help with the conditions very quickly. Have fantastic weight loss benefits. Let me get to where I was. Ozempic and Mounjaro are still both technically only FDA approved for the treatment of type 2 diabetes. So both of them, the semaglutide and the tirzepatide, are both only meant for the type 2 diabetes. However, they have come out with some FDA approved version of those two, which is called something different. Many physicians will safely prescribe them off-label for weight management. Wegovy is the only option of these three that has specifically been approved for the weight loss medication, only really differing from Ozempic by its recommended dosage. Okay, interesting. Some Wegovy, they must have different dosing than the Ozempic. Ozempic has also been approved for use to decrease the risk of suffering from major cardiovascular events such as heart attacks and strokes. Now that's interesting. I've never heard that before. So it says Ozempic has been approved for the use to decrease the risk of suffering from major cardiovascular events such as heart attack and strokes in patients with type 2 diabetes or some heart conditions. Interesting. Even though Ozempic and Mounjaro are not officially approved for weight loss, there is a ton of research and information confirming their efficiency and safety for use of weight loss medications. So, as you know, that they are obviously, Caleb, you've been on it, but people that I know that have been clients or patients of mine that have gotten on that, I'm all about the holistic approach. I'm just telling you guys right now that this is not something I suggest ever, but If this is what you want to go down, and it's very beneficial for you to get that weight off, because also being super morbidly obese is very bad for your health in so many ways too. So if this is the way to get you off, I'm going to talk about how you can get back on track off of this drug. That's what we're going to talk about today. So this is just the first part of this podcast, has been talking to you about what are these things, what are the side effects, how can it affect your body, what are some of the severe side effects. For the FDA to put on a box label is a really big deal, and you should heed the warning. But there are some natural ways once you do get off of it to kind of rehydrate and get your thyroid and your gallbladder and your gut microdome working for you again in a way that you really are going to need it once you get off of this drug, and will keep you in the safe zone of continuing to lose that weight, or even maintaining that weight, and being in a special place where you can feel that you are feeling healthy. There are no more of those side effects. You don't have to worry any longer about what those long-term side effects are going to be, because now you're doing something more natural and just maintaining that weight, which is kind of where you want to be. Once you get to the weight you want to be at, you want to know and be able to maintain it without freaking out that, oh my gosh, I'm off of it. Am I going to spiral? What's going to happen? Yada, yada. So let me just read some comments here. Caleb says, my insurance will not cover this drug anymore unless you are a diabetic. Interesting. Do you know anything if insurance is more picky on this drug? The only thing that I know about the drug for the Mounjaro is the only one that I know that they're not covering anymore, because of the high likely that people are just going to pay for it, and they're now classifying it as cosmetic instead of being a treatment. So that's the only thing. No, I do not. I don't sell either of those. I'm all about a holistic, just going over that. I'm all about the holistic way, and I have gotten 2 different doctors now that I follow that have put out 4 different ingredients that are similar to the ones that are in Mounjaro, but they're all natural, and that's what we're going to talk about. Because for those of people that have been on this drug that are looking to get off, but maybe they don't know how to, or what the side effects or how they're going to keep up with it, that's where I come in. That's where I'm trying to help. My doctor said I would always be on this drug. Well, I'm not trying to go against your doctor, but you have the option to not, and that is your choice. But I'm going to talk to you about, that's what this podcast is to give you information, and then you can choose what you want to do with your own life. But this is all about living your best life from the inside out, and how to do that naturally and holistically and actually being effective. So, and there are many case studies for hundreds of years with the ingredients that I'm about to talk about for causing these exact these exact things in your body that these drugs are doing in your body in the positive realm, like keeping your appetite in check and keeping the insulin levels down and all of that stuff. So we're going to dive into that. So don't be afraid that you can't get off of it and there's not other options, because there is. Okay, so which one would you do? Ozempic-Wagovy and Mounjaro are all administered on a weekly basis through subcutaneous injection. Yes, we already know this. 2.5 milligrams compared to 0.5 milligrams for the other two. So they did up it. It was 0.25. So they went up to 0.5 for the Wegovy and Ozempic. They also work very similar to in the body to make patients feel as if they're fuller, longer, making it much easier to maintain calories. Okay, so this particular drug really is to help you. How do I say it? It's making you feel full, so you don't eat. It's really the same basics of intermittent fasting. So, what I'm going to talk to you about and show you is the intermittent fasting in the fasting benefits. No drugs. Fasting and intermittent fasting in your body doing the same thing for you that you are already doing right now, but without all those harmful side effects. So that's ultimately where you want to be. You want to get your body working back for you. And since you've already been doing this and you're shrinking your appetite, your stomach's going to be shrunken, you're not going to be